Hi team, Penny here from Monaco Nail Academy and welcome to another request video. So this week Angela Singh has requested to have a go at these nails. Basically her question around these nails was around using nails as a canvas and how we determine where to position each section so that it's not too stretched out or even bunched up too close. So it's tricky with this particular photo as a request because I'm going to copy this photo. The watermark is really blurry. I think it's been shared multiple times. So if anyone knows who the original artist is, it's at someone91, I think. Please let me know so that I can comment when I share this video. But basically, in terms of being able to position sections so that it's not too stretched out or too bunched up, it's literally like if I'm looking at a picture that's not already on nails, then I will just divide it into 4 and kind of work like a grid. So making sure that where one starts on the picture, like you can edit photos on your phone and stuff like that, literally put lines through it and then just make sure that all the parts line up. I'm going to show you how I do this picture and hopefully that will give you an idea as well. So while I clean my orange brush, which I always clean my brush immediately before using it, but while I clean it I will just say please excuse the quality of the painting on my fingers because I went to pre-paint the base before I started filming and I put my hand in the lamp and a daddy long legs jumped down from inside the lamp onto my hand, and like, I'm not scared of them, but I did not know it was a daddy long legs while the lamp was closed. So there was some quick hand pulling and shaking to get whatever the F was on my hand off my hand, and so there's some lint and things flying around and I need you to just be okay with that. So my base layer is Artistic Color Gloss in Graceful, and I'm going to start out by lining where I want the bottom of my art to be. So you can line up your free edges or you can line up your cuticles or the eponychiums, and I generally prefer to line up the cuticles. I think it looks more even overall, but then it just depends on personal preference. I think in the photo the cuticles are lined up, but you could line up the tips of the nails as well. It's totally up to you. What I am going to do though is just hold my hand where it's comfortable. So when I'm showing off the artwork, this is what I'm most likely to hold my hand, and I'm going to grab some more of Graceful and I'm just going to draw a relatively straight line across all 4 nails where they land. So I'm doing it with Graceful because I don't want this line to be visible at the end. I want it to disappear, and so I'm just painting with the same color because I know that I can see it. Hopefully you guys can see it, and we're going to know where my base is at all times without getting mixed up. So I'm going to cue that real quick so that it doesn't move, and then we'll get started on the actual Snoopy. Now I have Color Gloss in Bride, and I'm going to use this white gel polish to do the entire base of Snoopy. Gel polish is the easiest thing to manipulate over and above gel paint, and it's going to adhere really well over and above acrylic paint. So gel polish is my preferred choice for large backgrounds. Now the tallest part of Snoopy is this one where the head is going to lie, so it's most important that I get that one in first and make sure that the proportions are right. So I know that my base is there, like my bottom part, and that the high point of his head is about 2/3 from the left, 1/3 from the right. So I'm just going to mark that out and then line down. And on the other side, we're not going all the way down. Not quite that sharp of a curve. And his nose is really fat. So really high from top to bottom is what I mean. Okay, so we've got that in place essentially, and I can then fill in the rest of that entire block. Don't stress too much if you are worried that it's not right, because the thing is that if you can paint white over blue, you can also paint blue over white. So if you get to the point that you've discovered that you don't like what you've done, you're just going to put blue over the white to fill in the gaps that you don't like. Outlining it at the end is also going to fix a lot. And if you want really detailed instruction on painting characters, we do have an online character nail art course on our website, www.monaco.ac.nz. Just go to the website and then search the word character and it should come up. So I can quite easily put the rest of the nose in without worrying about this blurring, and hopefully I won't mess it up. So I line my bases back together, and all I have to do is make sure that his nose is in the same place as this part of his nose, and then put in that curve. And there's not much of a nose there, so we don't have to worry too much about detail and things like that. What we do have is a hair. And also his, his actual nose is down here, and it's going to be mostly black, but it has a white highlight. So in the interests of being really efficient with my time, I'm going to put the white in first so that I don't have to come back to it. Now I'm going to cure that so that I don't mess it up while doing these ones, just because I'm working on myself. On a client, I probably wouldn't bother. I'd just go and do the base on the others. And now we need to get his back and his booty in. So first of all, most of the bottom of this one is going to be straight across. So I can put a straight line in most of the way. And then there's a little hiccup where his hand is and where his knee comes down. So that's pretty straightforward. And I'll just get the bulk of this polish up and out of the way. His body's going to be up here, so I can just quickly move it out of the way. Now I need to slope his neck up, which doesn't really connect to his head, so that's nice and easy. Slope this up, and we're going up to his butt, which, funnily enough, is not like a classic Snoopy shape. So to get the character likeness, you just need a big butt. You don't need Snoopy's butt, if you know what I mean. Whereas like the shape of his face and his nose is quite specific. A bit more of an arch in the back on the picture, but that's about it. And then we do need his legs to line up, so his back finishes just there. So I line up my bases again and put in a marker, and I have the base here as well. So we have the back of his leg, or the bottom, I suppose it's the bottom of his leg. Bottom of his leg there, and then we have his foot, which is a bit of a weird shape. And completely disproportionate to his body. And we need a tail for him as well. So I'm just going to, the thickest part of the tail is here. So bring that to a point and then a little point here. Alrighty, so I'm going to cure this and then I'm going to do a second coat on everything and then we'll come back for the detail. Alrighty, so at this point it's just really all about outlining, and we can work on one nail at a time pretty much because we've spaced it all out. Like nothing's really going to change too much. Like I think that this point of the nose is slightly too high, so I'm going to make note to outline over the white, whereas like this part of the nose I'm going to outline over the blue, and it will adjust the shape slightly. But other than things like that, we can work on one nail at a time. So I'm going to use black acrylic paint. So it's a water-based paint by Be Creative, which we currently sell at monaco.ac.nz. I'm choosing acrylic paint because Snoopy is a comic, he's a sketch, the lines are sketchy, and acrylic paint is going to be the easiest thing to use to do that as opposed to gel paint and gel polish. So I'm going to use acrylic paint, and let's outline this. So on the first nail, we do have a line of ground, and then his nose, and then the snout is just an outline. And like I said, the outlines are kind of sketchy, so just be aware of that when you are painting. So you don't want a perfect line for this particular character. Remember, the top of my outline is going over the white, and I'm just making it sketchy. With the nose, I need to remember to leave a highlight. So I'm going to outline it, and the highlight is near the top. So I'm going to kind of outline the highlight and then fill in the rest, still being sketchy. And then let's put in the wobbly ground line. So just like that. Just going to define this slightly more. And we're on to the next one. So this one, we do have his ear. The bottom is mostly ground line, but I need to put his ear in, which starts not in the middle point of his head, but just over and even with the top of his nose. So even with the top of his nose, not halfway, a bit further is where it starts. So it finishes below the base of the ground. So I'm going to put in this rounded shape. And then at the back, it looks like it actually connects to his head. Now, we didn't take into account painting in the bottom of his ear when we did the white, but you can see that actually we didn't need to because of the way that the outlining takes over for us. So I'm going to put the middle of his ear in. And then we can do the wobbly ground line because the point of his ear was going to interrupt it. So we couldn't do it before, but we can do it now. Alrighty, so we've got the base. Now we just need the outline of the top of his head. And we do need his little sleepy eye. So it's just on the corner here and in a bit. And you can always move it if you need to, but I'm pretty happy with that. Okay, so then this is probably the hardest nail to do because there's so many pieces. So let's do his, I'm going to do the runner over the back first because it looks like the easiest part. Now we can do his arm, which looks a bit trickier. It starts roughly here. If I'm looking at this curve, it's kind of in with the corner of the curves, but just over, and about 2/3 to 1/3. So I put in my little marker, and we already know where the hand is going to end. So knowing that that's where the marker is, I can come all the way across with my sketchy arm line and just stop close enough that I can put in the rest of his hand. And then I'm going to put in this wobble and just take it up and over. One toe, two toes, three toes, and we've just got his knee to do. So knee, top of his leg, and now the end. Alrighty. So if we double checked it now and it didn't all line up, then we can come back in with like the blue and bring this lower, or come in with more white and take it higher. You can always change it. I think I'm going to disagree with the picture slightly and put in a ground line here, because I think it doesn't quite look right on my one. It looks fine on theirs, but it didn't translate well on mine. And so because I've done that, I'll just put in a little bit of ground there to seal it all together, like just to finish it off. But I'm pretty happy with how that has turned out. I think he works out well. Now, to protect the artwork, I'm going to do a layer of clear correction gel before I top coat, and this is just a thicker viscosity gel polish product. It is soak off, although I'm going over the top of acrylic, so it's irrelevant to me, but it's just going to even out the surface of having all of this artwork and then give us a nice surface to put the actual top coat on. Correction gel isn't as shiny as a glossing gel top coat formulated for shine, so you don't want to use it as the top coat if you don't have to. But yeah, so I'm going to do a layer of this, cure it for 30 seconds, then a layer of top coat, and then I'll show you the end result. All done, and this is the end result. So you can see that it's now totally smooth. You'd have no idea that we drew that guideline right at the start. I think his proportions are pretty good when you line him up completely. He looks right, and yeah, he's super fun. I like him a lot. So I would love to see your attempts. If you have a go at this, tag me in. Even if it's not Snoopy, if it's someone else, I'd still love to see it. If you do want to do more in-depth character training, go to www.monaco.ac.nz and search the word character. And if you do want to make a request for one of these videos, let me know as well. Tag me in your photos and let me know that you want to see a tutorial. Alrighty, so that's it for today. Thanks heaps for making it this far, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!